This week, I'm walking you guys day by day through a week behind the scenes in my life and business. In the morning, I tell you all about my morning routine that day and what's on the agenda. And in the evening, I recap the day. I love these types of episodes because I think there's so many hidden lessons and learning points in someone's day-to-day life. And I hope you can learn something through looking behind the scenes at mine. We'll discuss things like my all-time favorite coffee recipe, the ins and outs of a design project, what it's like to go house hunting in the middle of the workday, and so much more. This is obviously a longer episode, as you can see, but it's a really fun one. So let's dive in. Hey guys, it's Elizabeth McCravey, and you're listening to the Breakthrough Brand Podcast. Each week, I'll bring you workshop-style trainings that teach you how to stand out online, design success from the inside out, and create a breakthrough business. It's time to turn viewers into raving fans and design the business and life of your dreams. I'm so excited you're here. Hello, you guys. So it is Monday morning here, and I'm going to walk you guys through what I did this morning before starting the workday. It's 9:05 now, and I'm starting the workday, and I'm going to walk you guys through what I did this morning for my morning routine, and then also what's on the agenda today. So first of all, what's on the agenda? Today is technically not a normal Monday for me. I have a podcast interview that will take up a couple hours of my day and a lot of prep before that. Really excited about that. And then also tonight I have Young Life Club, which is something I do every Monday night. I'm a volunteer Young Life leader, but tonight I'm giving the Young Life talk. Literally, I'll be the one giving the message at the end of Young Life Club. So that's something that doesn't happen that often, but again, leads to a little bit of an abnormal day because I'll also spend some time prepping that message. So it is a day with a lot of talking, a lot of exciting stuff happening, and I'm really pumped about it. So to walk you guys through the morning routine, I won't do this for every day, but I will hit some highlights of it today. So I woke up, fixed coffee. Coffee is a must in my morning, and I sit down with my coffee and I had my devotional time. So this year, I'm actually reading the entire Bible through. I have one of those 1 year, 365-day plans where every day you read some Old Testament, New Testament, Psalms, and Proverbs. So I've been following that. I'm actually, in total honesty, a little bit behind right now, but it's okay. I knew it was likely that I would get behind at some point, but I'm still reading it. It might take me more than a year, but either way, I've literally just loved all the things I'm learning through reading the Bible so intentionally that way. So right now I'm in Exodus and at the end of Matthew, and then you also every day reading some Psalms and Proverbs. So I did that part of my morning, and then I did some prayer journaling, again, praying over speaking tonight at Young Life. It feels like a really big thing that I want the Lord to work through me in, and also praying for this interview today on the podcast. And then I did something I do every morning, which is some specific journaling questions. So my mastermind coach, Amber Housley, gave me and the rest of the people in our group, I believe it's 7 questions to answer every day in a journal. And I've been doing that since she gave them to us, and I really love it. And it helps me set intention for the day. So it asks questions like, what is things you're working towards? What would bring you joy today? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Things like that. I can't remember all the exact questions, but it's really good. It only takes me maybe 4 minutes. It's not a long time, but it helps me set intention for the day and helps me really think about what do I actually want from the day? So I love doing that. And then this morning I scheduled out my day in 30-minute increments using the High Performance Planner, which is Brendan Burchard's planner. You can get it on Amazon. I'll link to it in the show notes so you guys can learn more about it. But I like to use this on busy days, not every day, just on busy days. It's really awesome because it's undated. You literally just write the day in, so it doesn't matter that I skip days. But I love it because it helps me time block my day out, which means scheduling what I'm doing all day in 30-minute increments is how it has it set up. And then it has 10 questions that it asks you to set your intention. Again, more questions like what I already did in my journal this morning, but questions to set your intention for the day and to help you focus on what matters. And then there's also more questions that you answer at the end of the day. And then there's a spot to write down like your top 3 priorities, your number 1 priority for the day, and that kind of thing. So on busier days, I like to use this because it helps me make sure I'm going to fit everything in and figure out because I have this big interview and then I also have to prep for the Young Life Talk tonight. So kind of figuring out in between all that stuff, what makes sense to work on. Because, right between now and the interview, that's only in about an hour and a half. It's I don't want to start on some huge project. So really by working it out that way in block scheduling, I can find out hey, what does make sense time-wise for me to work in right here. After I did my devotional time, my journaling time, filling out the high performance planner, I went to the gym. And this morning, all I did was the elliptical. I just, rode the elliptical. I did it for 25 minutes, nothing crazy. I wasn't feeling like a long workout this morning. I also wasn't feeling like lifting weights. I was more so I just need to do a little bit of mindless cardio. And in that time, I brainstormed stuff for this podcast interview. So I was kind of already working, doing that. It helps me so much to go on walks or do something like cardio that I don't have to be counting reps, steering, or anything like that, to brainstorm big things in life. So that was helpful to me. Just 25 minutes of me thinking about the interview and getting some movement in this morning, because I knew if I held off to have my workout in the afternoon, which I do a lot of days, I probably wouldn't have gotten it done today. So glad I did that. After that, I showered, I got ready, and I did my hair and makeup today, which you should know that is a rarity for me to do my hair and makeup in the mornings. As I work from home and a lot of times don't have face-to-face meetings with people, it's pretty easy for me to just, go all day. I do always get dressed, but not having styled my hair or done my makeup. But today with the interview, I'll be face-to-face. So I was I want to, feel good, look good, feel confident. And then also, again, speaking at Young Life tonight, I wanted to be ready for that. So I did do my hair and makeup today. I also like doing my hair. This is kind of a little side tangent. I like doing my hair on Mondays. I do not wash my hair that often, only every 4 days or so. So it's nice on Monday to style it, because when I actually style it, it helps me go longer between washes. And then, now I'll be able to wear this hair for the next couple of days without doing anything. So that's nice. After that, I fixed a smoothie for breakfast, which is not normal for me in the winter. But it is actually not a cold day today in Nashville, so it felt like it made sense to have a smoothie. So I was actually drinking that right now as I prep for what I was going to say during this. So like I said, now it's 9:13 now here, and 9 a.m. is a pretty normal start time for me for work. On Mondays, I typically prefer to start later than that. On Mondays, it's usually 10 a.m. for me. I like to ease into the work week a little more, and I found that I was always pushing on Mondays, I want to start work at 8 a.m., hit the ground running. But I was always not starting on time. It just wasn't working. I wasn't ever starting on time. I don't really have some huge reason why, but it just wasn't working for me to start work at 8 a.m. or even 9 most of the time. So I kind of decided that Mondays, 10 a.m. is my start time, unless I want to dig in earlier, which today I did. So starting work at 9. So today's agenda, like I said, I have a podcast interview at 10:45, and I'm anticipating that interview to take about an hour and a half, possibly more. So it'll be a significant part of my day. And then even before that, I'll probably want to spend 30 minutes kind of looking over notes to see. It's a very much an interview style podcast, so I don't really even necessarily know what the questions are, but I do know I'll be teaching on one thing, and specifically about website design, so I want to make sure I'm well prepped for that. And before that, though, again, using my high performance planner, I was able to find out where I have some margin for this, but I'm going to work on some stuff this morning for one of my one-to-one marketing clients, some email stuff and social media stuff and that kind of thing, just to get us ready to go for the week. I will also, before this call, touch base with my inbox. After the weekend, I always like to make sure somewhat early on Mondays that I get in my inbox and send some emails, especially focusing on my actual one-to-one clients as the biggest priority when I open the inbox. So getting back to them on some stuff so that they have time to get back to me with any questions I have while I'm, doing this interview and not really available. So then I will have the interview, like I said, at 10:45. And my husband is planning to come home for lunch today. So some days he has lunch meetings out. Some day he comes home and eats with me. Most of the time I eat lunch at home alone. I don't take big lunch breaks. Occasionally I'll go out with friends for lunch, but that's not a common thing for me. It always feels quicker to just eat at home and then get back to work. So today though, I always ask him to let me know when he's going to come home for lunch so I can plan my lunch to also match up with his. So he is coming home for lunch today. That feels so funny to mention, but I'm just telling you guys my day. So he is coming home for lunch. I don't know if we'll eat together or not though, because I don't know how long the interview will last. So if he is here during the interview, I've asked him to be especially quiet so we don't hear him, cooking in the kitchen. So that is the first part of the day. And then this afternoon, I plan to start on a website design for a client. We've already completed her branding, and we're at the point now where I'm kind of waiting on her for the website copy, but I'm also ready to go ahead and start designing the website itself. So I'm going to just do that initial step. It always feels like the hardest step, getting started on the site. So I'm going to take that step though and start on it. And then hopefully I'll have time to do both those things. I'm not sure how much I'll do on her website. It could take longer or less time. I'll try to limit my time though to fit this other thing in, but I also want to create a mood board and color palette for another client. And this client, she's also a branding and website client, but we're starting on her branding right now. So the first client I mentioned, we're at the point to start her website. We already did the branding. And now this client, we're at the point to start the branding, and then we'll do the website after. So I always start by sending a mood board and color palette proposition for the client and have them approve that, and then I move on from there. So I'm thinking my afternoon, basically from lunch until the end of the workday, I'll spend it on those two projects. And then I'll probably stop work at 5 o'clock sharp. I have to be at Young Life at 6:15. And between 5 and 6, when I probably will drive to go to Young Life, I'm going to work on my talk, practicing the message. So if you guys, I'll say this briefly, but if you don't know what Young Life is, it's basically a ministry that works with high school students. So every Monday we have an event where the whole school is invited, and we play games and sing songs and all kinds of fun stuff like that. And typically the Young Life leaders know the kids in the grade that they're leading in. So I lead senior girls. And so you hang out with them at club, and we call it club. That's what the event is called. And then at the end of it though, someone gets up and for 15 to 20 minutes, they share a message about Jesus. And so that's what I'm doing tonight. And normally I don't give talks that often. We call it a Young Life talk, the message at the end. The best comparison I can give it is a sermon, a shorter sermon. So I don't actually do that often. It's more once a year for me. So that's one thing that's abnormal, I guess, about today. I always have Young Life Club, which takes me from 6:15 till 9:30 ish at night, 9:30. So it's basically my whole Monday evening, always when we have it. But normally I'm not the one talking. I'm normally doing other jobs. I take our photos, I handle the PowerPoint for the songs, and sometimes we'll lead games and that kind of thing. So today is a little different in that regard, that I will be speaking, but I'm really excited about it. And tonight, once Young Life is over, I'm sure I will be tired and ready for bed, and probably for less talking tomorrow, because today is a big day of talking for me, between an interview style thing and then prepping for both that and the Young Life talk, and then talking tonight at Young Life. So there you have it. That is an overview of what I expect my Monday to look like. And I will check back in with you guys later tonight. I'll do it after Young Life Club. So pretty late is when I'll record that one, but I'll let you guys know how my Monday was and if it was what I was expecting it to be. All right, guys, it is the evening now, and I can say that today was different in a lot of ways than expected. So it is 9:30 right now as I'm recording this. I thought about waiting until the morning, but I wanted to give you guys the recap while it's fresh. So first thing that was different, the podcast interview I was supposed to have today didn't happen. The person interviewing me, her entire electricity and internet went out unexpectedly. So it happened about an hour before our call, and then we were kind of it might still be able to happen, it might come on. And we waited about 30 minutes until like from when we were supposed to start to officially call it. And the good news is we're able to reschedule it for tomorrow. So while everything's still fresh, we're able to do it in the morning, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, so that was a loop. So I'd spent a lot of time that morning prepping for the podcast, and that time did not go to waste because now that's time I'm not going to spend tomorrow prepping for it. So we'll be doing that tomorrow at the same time we had planned. And instead, since today, when we were supposed to have it and we didn't, I was already all set up with my podcasting equipment. I was ready to like talk, and I had my drink. I was just ready to go. So I decided to record an episode for my podcast. So I actually had an outline for an episode already written that I had written a couple weeks ago. And so I referenced that, read over it, and then I recorded about a 30-minute episode that'll come on to this podcast. So I used the time well when I was in that mode. And you guys, that's one thing to think about in your business and life. We get ourselves into modes where you're doing certain tasks, and putting like tasks together can make you more efficient. So for me in that moment, it was like, man, I'm really in talking mode. I'm in teaching mode. I'm ready to podcast, so I use that energy to do something productive with it versus at that moment, if I had just gone into graphic design work, I think I would have been distracted because I had the energy in me to do some teaching on a podcast. So I'm glad I used that time well. I got an interview done, or I got a podcast done rather for my own show. So because the interview didn't happen though, I had more time because like I said, the episode I recorded was only 30 minutes. So I had more time blocked to do a podcast. So I spent that time instead going ahead and starting on that design work I said I had to do. So I had more time for that, which was awesome. And today I got a mood board done. For the client who were starting on her branding. I sent it to her and got video feedback from her today, which was awesome. And the feedback was so helpful. So that'll be a big focus for me tomorrow is like refining her colors and us really diving into her branding because we're having some like discussion on her business name and all kinds of like shifts we might make. So it was really good getting some moving on that today. And then the client who were in the website design phase, I did start on the website, which you guys, if you're a designer, then you know that sometimes starting on like that point in the process is the hardest part. It's like once you get stuff in there and you get rolling, the design starts to flow naturally. But for me, it's usually the hardest part to like just get started. So I got started on that, which felt like a huge win. And today I actually stopped work a little early. I stopped at like 4:30 or so because Adam and I are actually in the process of buying our first home. We are meeting with our realtor on Thursday to tour houses, and we're working in like the mortgage loan process. So I had some stuff to do with that today that took about 45 minutes of my time. So I ended my day doing that instead of with work stuff. And then after that, between 5 o'clock and Young Life Club, I worked on prepping for my Young Life talk. I practiced it again, really like 2 more times, and I got like the notes I was going to have in my Bible with me ready. And then I also helped Adam on Young Life days. I usually help him with some stuff like getting the PowerPoint set up and that kind of thing. So I helped him with that. I got to Young Life at 6:15 and it's 9:35 now, and I just got home a couple minutes ago to record this. And Young Life tonight was awesome. It was a really great event. I think it was our biggest of this school semester so far. We had a great turnout, and I feel like my message that I gave, like I said, we called it in Young Life a talk. I feel like it went really well. It was well received, and people listened. And I think the Lord really answered my prayer of speaking through me and taking away nerves and helping me to remember what I was going to say, because that can be a hard thing in public speaking when you're just giving 15 minutes of just you talking. So I really feel like the Lord worked in me that way, and it's such a blessing, and I'm glad it's over because sometimes the nerves for me leading up to something like that are like the thing that gets me. When I'm up there talking, whether it's in Young Life or something for my business, I literally love it so much. Like I love public speaking, but leading up to it, I have a lot of nerves that are like sometimes good energy, but sometimes they're bad energy. And that's something I actually want to work on because I know how much I love public speaking. I'm like, man, I don't want that to be a thing that causes me so much nerves leading up to it, especially when some of the nerves are a negative energy. So that was my day. Somewhat normal to what I had thought it would be like. And Interrupting this episode with a suggestion for the small business owners listening. Ever wonder what you should do for healthcare when you and your spouse are both self-employed, so there's no work-provided health insurance to participate in? Well, when my husband Adam joined me in the entrepreneurial job space over 4 years ago, we joined Christian Healthcare Ministries instead of getting traditional health insurance. And it was the best decision for us, especially in these years of growing and raising a family while also running multiple businesses. CHM is a health cost-sharing ministry and is a faith-based alternative to health insurance. We did tons of research before choosing CHM, and if you know me and Adam, you know we are all about doing the math when making big or small financial decisions. And even though it's not insurance, CHM shares 100% of eligible medical bills, which is more than the typical 70 or 80% of medical bills paid for by insurance companies. All sharing is determined by the CHM guidelines, which you can check out before and after joining. And for the mamas and mamas to be listening, you truly cannot find a better healthcare option for maternity care. I had a vaginal delivery and a C-section and birth center care and hospital care between my 2 pregnancies and births, and it was all 100% shared for. And outside of birth, we've had our share of emergency room visits and procedures as a family, and those costs were all shared by members at Christian Healthcare Ministries, leaving us only paying our monthly contribution. CHM is less expensive month to month than insurance, and because there's no network, you can choose your care with whichever providers best fit your family. I seriously just cannot recommend Christian Healthcare Ministries enough. You've got to check them out. Go to elizabethmccravey.com/CHM for more information. Also putting that link in the show notes, elizabethmccravey.com/CHM. Now back to the episode. I'm ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow will be probably a day with more design work than today. And then I'll have that podcast interview in the morning. And like I said, it is 9:35 here now, and Adam is going to be home from Young Life soon. He stays a little longer than me. And so we're going to probably hang out a bit. We tend to stay up later on Mondays after Young Life Club because we like to get some time to just hang out and catch up from the day. Usually Mondays are a pretty fast day for both of us. So we will probably stay up a bit later, and then I will get rolling tomorrow. So good morning, you guys. It is Tuesday morning. I'm going to start by briefly recapping what my morning routine was like today, and then I'm going to get into what's expected for today's agenda. So today I woke up at 6:30, which is later than yesterday. Yesterday was more like 5:50, 6 a.m. Like I said, I ended up staying up till like 11 last night hanging out with Adam. So made me need a little bit extra sleep. I probably could have slept even longer than that. And then I went into the kitchen. I fixed my coffee. And you guys, I realized yesterday I did not tell you my coffee recipe. So I will link to these items in the show notes. But you guys, I make the best cup of coffee ever, I think personally. So I start out with just some black coffee. I use Nut Pods, which is a coconut and almond milk creamer. So it's like the two together. It's no added sugar. It's paleo, Whole30 approved, gluten-free, all of that, vegan. And I use the vanilla flavor. So I use a couple tablespoons of that, however much I feel like I need to like get the coloring and consistency right for myself. And then the secret ingredient is using a product called Coffee Booster, which again, I'll link to in the show notes. But you guys, this one, it's so good. So it's a mixture of cacao, butter, and coconut oil. And so it's kind of has that bulletproof coffee kind of vibe. So if you've ever made that with like butter in your coffee, it's similar to that, but it's using ghee butter and then coconut oil is the base. And there's different flavors. So the one I'm drinking right now is the peppermint mocha, which was a Christmas edition one that I still haven't gotten through the whole jar yet. The other ones, like there's just the normal one, which is a chocolatey one. There's vanilla, there's cinnamon spice. It's so, so good. There's also just a plain one. So I put a half a tablespoon of that most days in my coffee. And then I also put some collagen peptides, and I use Vital Proteins brand, and I don't put a full serving because even though it's unflavored, I can actually taste it. Even though it says you're not supposed to, I can taste it if I put too much. So I just put a little bit of that, And then sometimes I put the Bulletproof MCT oil in my coffee, which is supposed to help you with brain boost and focus and all of that. And Coffee Booster also does that same thing. So all of that together, I put it in the cup, which is a lot of little concoction there. And then I use an immersion blender to blend it. So immersion blender is like when you stick it into the cup or whatever it is, and then there's different settings and you blend it. You could also use a regular blender, but I love the immersion blender because it doesn't create like a lot of stuff to wash. I'm literally just sticking the piece in the coffee, and I use it every day for my coffee. So I end up just rinsing it every day, and then I like really wash it once a week usually. So that's what I put in my coffee, and it's really good. So if you want to check out those items, go to the show notes for this episode on my blog, elizabethmccravey.com. And yeah, that's what I sip on throughout the morning, and usually during the beginning of my workday too until I run out. So after I fixed that, I actually meal prepped this morning some chicken in a crock pot. For lunch today, I'm making barbecue chicken flatbreads, and we'll also probably have that a couple other days this week. So I went ahead and put in all the chicken. I meant to do it yesterday, but I forgot. So it'll be cooking on high today. And since I started it at like 6:30 a.m., it'll be ready by lunchtime. And then also spent some time cleaning the kitchen this morning before getting into anything else. So a lot of like just home stuff to start the day. And then after that, I did my quiet time, kind of similar to yesterday. I read the Bible, and I did one more day extra because like I told you guys, I'm a little bit behind on the 365-day reading plan. So just whenever I feel really into the story and ready to read more, I read an extra day. So I did that, and then I journaled, and I answered my journaling intention questions for the day. And then also this morning, I spent a lot of time just talking with Adam, which made it take a little longer to get ready. So I did not it's 8:50 right now as I'm recording this, but I spent more time than I'd planned to. I fixed my breakfast, ate that. I had avocado toast with goat cheese on it, and then a fried egg, which was really good. And then I got ready for the day. So again, I feel like this week is less normal than I thought it would be, but I got ready again for the day, which like I said yesterday, I don't do that every day. But like I have that podcast interview today, which will be on Skype video, and also plans this evening. So I'm like, well, get ready. That works. But a lot of days I don't do my makeup or wear like normal clothes, but today I'm doing that again. So what's on today's agenda? So like I said, that podcast interview that was supposed to happen yesterday is happening today at the same time. So I've kind of planned my schedule around that again. So this morning, until I get to the time for the podcast, I'm going to focus on stuff for one of my marketing clients. We have a launch next week. And so for that, I'll do some work on like email and promotional stuff, Facebook ads, all of that. So I think that'll take me up until the time of the podcast interview. And then after I do the interview, I plan to eat lunch and eat my barbecue chicken flatbreads, which I'll have to actually like assemble. A lot of times for lunch, I try to make it something that's just more grab and go. But since I'm prepping that this morning, I'm going to have to like chop some red onion and kind of, shred the chicken, put all that together. So if I don't feel like I have the time to do that, then I might just eat a turkey sandwich. But that is the current plan, is that for lunch. And then this afternoon, I plan to dive back into design work. So I'm going to revisit that mood board and color palette for the client I sent yesterday. And she sent me a great video that's like 8 minutes of feedback and discussion on her overall brand. So I want to watch that video again. I watched like half of it last night as I was leaving for Young Life, but I want to watch it again and then do some revisions to the mood board and also probably start in her branding today because I feel like I have a better picture now of what she wants branding wise. So I'll focus on her today. The other client whose website I'm working on, I'm not going to focus on today because I have a meeting with her on Thursday morning and I kind of need that meeting to happen before I can take the next step on her stuff. And I might have an impromptu meeting with a client this afternoon that, I work mostly virtually with people. So the meeting would be either by video or phone call. So nothing I have to drive to. I'll be working from home today. And regardless of if I have that meeting or not, if there's time between when I send the mood board and logo stuff to that one client, if I have time, I'm going to use it to outline another podcast episode because I will hit a roadblock. Like if I finish what I'm talking about for that design client, then you hit a point where once you send it to the client and you're waiting on their feedback, you can't do anything else until they give you feedback. So I would use that time to outline a podcast episode. I have so many ideas that I like put in documents, and I kind of have all up in my mind figured out what I want to say, but I need to actually put it into an outline. So I plan to outline hopefully at least one episode today. I'm just going to pick one from the list that I feel compelled to talk about and jot it all down in outline. So I'm thinking that'll take me to the end of the workday. Nothing super exciting. I'm basically interviewing on a podcast, might have a phone call, and then we'll be doing some design and marketing work. Most weeks, I try to have days where it's like a design day, a day of like marketing and content, and kind of like separating the two out more. You probably won't hear me doing that as much this week because this the nature of the different meetings I have this week, and then with the podcast getting switched to today. Otherwise, today might have been more of a design day. But I do try to do that. Again, how I was saying yesterday, but you get in certain moods when you're working. So I like to, get into design mood and then really work from that. And then, get into content creation mode and work from that, or into marketing mode or whatever it is. But this week I probably will do less of that. So I'll be sure to do another one of these kind of episodes on a week where I feel like I actually do more of like the batch working type of thing. So then this evening I'm excited about. So one of my friends who we actually have only ever met virtually, which is funny. Her name's Molly. We met, I guess maybe a year or 2 years ago, I don't remember, but we've worked with a couple of the same clients, and we met because she had suggested me as the website designer for one of her copywriting clients. And since then, we kind of formed like an online friendship, and she's actually going to be in Nashville for the Story Brand Conference, which is Donald Miller's conference for like his story brand copywriting marketing model. And so we're having dinner after she gets out for the day and going to Hattie B's Hot Chicken so she can experience some specifically Nashville food. So we're kind of having an early dinner. And Hattie B's, the one we're going to, is farther away from me. I live in the suburbs. And so in order to not have to drive to Hattie B's at like the most traffic time ever, which is when we're meeting, I might actually go to a coffee shop close by this afternoon and drive there at like 2 o'clock or so, and then work in the coffee shop from 2 to 5 or 5:30 whenever we meet. So that way I can just have like more of a 3-minute drive to Hattie B's versus like if I wait until 5 o'clock to go there, it might take me like 30 to 40 minutes. But if I left in the afternoon, it might take me more like 20, 25 minutes. I'm a big proponent of avoiding traffic. If you ever were around me for long, you'd notice that I tend to like try to go to stuff at times where other people aren't going to it. So I do a lot of that of like, if I'm meeting someone in Nashville, I'll often try to end my workday nearby. So I just don't have to sit in traffic because it drives me crazy. So I might be working in a coffee shop this afternoon, and me and Molly will have dinner, and then we'll be done somewhat early. So I plan to hang out with Adam at home after that. So that is an overview of my day. Again, like, I've had pretty normal life, pretty normal day. And I will check back in with you guys tonight and let you know how things went and if it was like expected or not. Hey guys, so it's now Tuesday night, and today was a really fun and really full day. So this morning before the podcast interview, I worked on stuff for a one-on-one marketing client for their launch next week, and that was really good and really productive. And then I went straight from that into the podcast interview, and it was so much fun, you guys. I cannot wait for it to air. It'll actually air before this episode happens. So I'm going to tell you guys, it's the Power and Purpose podcast with Candace Coppola. So go check it out once you finish listening to this episode, because it's really good questions, good conversation. She is a great interviewer, and it was just really fun chatting. So after that, I ate lunch, and then I dove into more work for the marketing client that I was working on this morning, and then some more random work for design clients, just kind of moving projects forward. And then I had a meeting with one of my clients on the phone, which I told you guys might happen. So that was just like a 30-minute or so meeting. pretty quickly after that phone call, I went to a coffee shop nearby, Hattie B's, to work for the rest of the afternoon so I could meet Molly right after she got out of the conference. I actually don't work in coffee shops much. I tend to get distracted a lot of the times by the music and the people rolling in and out, and sometimes you can't find a charger or a good table and things like that. So this time, though, was actually a really great experience. The coffee shop I went to was really chill. There was hardly anyone in there, and it had some great peaceful music playing. So in there, I worked on initial logo concepts for the design client who I'm doing the logos on right now. And I didn't get the final thing finished, but I did get close to having a first concept. And I paused on it once Molly was ready to meet, and I'm going to revisit it tomorrow. So with logo and branding stuff, I can look at something too long, and then it's like hard to tell if it's good or not, or if I even like it anymore. So I like to work on it just for a certain amount of time and then take a break and revisit it fresh. So after that, I met Molly at about 5:45. I worked until then at the coffee shop. And we went to Hattie B's. It was so much fun. It felt more like old friends catching up than new friends meeting. Because like I said, that was the first time we had ever met in person. So we had great conversation, really felt like just catching up. It was great, like getting to know each other better. And I hope to actually see her in person in Boston when I'll be there for the Ignite Your Soul Summit, which is actually in New Hampshire, but I'll be staying in Boston one night, and that's where Molly lives. So we're hoping to get to hang out again in April when I'm there with some friends for that conference. So it was a really good time. We stayed for quite a few hours there. And then after that, I went home and hung out with Adam. He also had just gotten back from work at that same time. And typically Tuesdays are our night to hang out because he normally doesn't have work on Tuesdays. And other days of the week, it's pretty normal for him to have work at night just because of the nature of his job. But Tuesdays are typically free. But since I was with Molly, he did go do some work stuff. So we wanted to still get to hang out together after and just catch up. So we've stayed up talking for a while, and now I am going to bed, and he is as well. And I will touch base with you guys tomorrow morning. Bye. Good morning, you guys. So right now it is Wednesday morning. It's 8:35, and today I started work at 8 a.m., so earlier than I have on Monday and Tuesday this week. So to tell you guys about the morning routine, well, this morning it was not really a morning routine like it has been the past couple of days. So this happens to me sometimes. I'm sure you can relate. I didn't wake up with as much intention as I did on Monday and Tuesday. So it was really the problem was that I didn't know what I wanted to do this morning. Originally, I woke up, I overslept a little bit till like 6:45 or so. And I was thinking I'm going to go to the gym before I do anything else, which that would mean I'm not eating breakfast. I'm just having my pre-workout and I am going to the gym and then getting ready for work basically right after. But then I realized I just did not have the energy in me to go to the gym this morning. Sometimes it's really hard for me to work out without eating first. I don't know if you can relate to that, but I just have worse workouts, and I could tell that it was going to be that way if I went this morning. So now instead I'm going to work out after my first meeting of the day, just as a midday break. So because of all that, though, I did not read my Bible this morning. I did not do my intention for the day questions, which I actually am still going to do those questions once I finish recording this. I still want to be intentional. That's one of my actual Power Sheet goals for the month, is to do those 8 questions every single day. So I'm still going to do that. But I did miss reading my Bible this morning and kind of just sitting around sipping on coffee and starting my day slowly. So I do plan to read my Bible this afternoon as well. So I'm still not completely missing it, but I don't like it when this happens to me, where I just wake up without intention and kind of just fumble around until it's time for work to start. So if that's you on most days, or if it's you ever, like it was with me today, the thing that helps me counteract that is when I go to bed and I know what I'm going to do when I wake up, which was not true of me last night. I did not know what my plan was this morning. I really didn't even know that much about what all was on my agenda today. And so I just kind of woke up and was really feeling tired and didn't start my day with intention. So that is life, though, and it's okay. We've got tomorrow to do the whole morning routine thing better. And the reason I do a morning routine is because it really does fuel me and it sets me up for success the rest of the day. And I'm actually kind of a morning person, which you might not think with me saying how I'm oversleeping the past 2 days, but I really love mornings. And some of my favorite days have been ones where I've woken up at like 5 a.m. and gotten to read my Bible, read a book, work out, get ready for the day, and eat a great breakfast and all of that before like 8 or 9 a.m. But I've gotten out of the habit of waking up that early. So I would love for a time to come though, where I'm more of like a 5:30 a.m. person or 5 a.m. even. But right now I just stay up too late most of the time for that to happen. It's all right. 'Tis his life. So this morning I'm going to work on logo design stuff for that client I was saying yesterday who were on the mood board and color palette and logo stage in her process. And I let those logos sit. I stopped on them yesterday and now I'm going to revisit that first set. And who knows, I haven't looked at it yet this morning. I might be like, what was I thinking? Because that does happen to me sometimes after I've looked at something too long. Also for that project, I plan to focus on some drawing of logos because I didn't do that yesterday. I was in that coffee shop and I didn't bring my notebook with me or any paper or pen. So I'm going to try to work on some drawing because I end up having, even though I'm horrible writing, for a designer, you would expect me to be able to have great calligraphy or something. I don't. So when I write stuff out, it's more to like get a visual for the layout and then I'll translate it to the computer. So I'm going to do that this morning. And then at 10:30, I have a call with my business coach, Amber Housley. I'm in her Inspired Coterie Mastermind, which has just been such a blessing in my life. And I have a call with her today. It's just a 30-minute coaching call where we're going to dive in to talking about really whatever I want to talk about and I need coaching on. And I have not decided yet what I want to get her help with. And I want to use that time really, really well to really, get her to teach me on something and to really work through a problem I have in my business. But I haven't decided which thing to talk to her about. I definitely have plenty of things I could get her coaching on, but I haven't picked one yet. So between now and 10:30, I'm probably going to take some notes on things, on a topic I want to talk with her through, and we'll definitely want to decide on that. And we'll do that on a Zoom call. So another day where I'm doing my makeup in the morning for those kind of meetings. But I am today actually wearing leggings and a t-shirt because I plan to go to the gym right after my call with Amber. I'm actually going to drink my pre-workout during our call. And if you guys are curious what my pre-workout is, it's actually, I call it a pre-workout, but it's actually not. Pre-workouts have always made me jittery. What I use is called Morning Buzz, which you can find on Amazon. I will link to it in the show notes along with all of these other beverages I've told you guys about and other things like that. But it's similar to Spark by Advocare, if you've ever used that. It's almost the exact same ingredients. It's also similar to Arbonne's Fizz Sticks and really similar in ingredients to that as well. So only this has more caffeine than that one does, but it has the same caffeine level as Spark. So they're all three really similar, but Morning Buzz is more inexpensive. So that's why I've bought it for years now. Growing up in high school, I actually drank Spark by Advocare basically as my pre-workout for all of high school. And my dad was the one who would buy it for me. He loved it. It was like he had an Advocare person and he was just really into it. So it was always a gift he would give me. And then when I got married and moved away, he was like, you're going to have to buy your own. And I realized pretty quickly that it was really expensive to me. It's like $60, $70 sometimes for a canister of it. But Morning Buzz that I get on Amazon is $25 for the exact same amount. And like I said, it's really similar ingredients. It doesn't make me jittery. It's basically a caffeine and vitamin mix and it tastes really good. I like the fruit punch flavor. There's a bunch of other flavors too that are good though. So I like to sip on that sometimes during the workday because it really does help me focus and gives me energy, especially on days where I skip coffee. And today I have not had any coffee. I do plan to, but I haven't fixed it yet. So so I'll have that during my call with Amber. And then I'm going to go to the gym. I plan to lift weights. I already have the workout I'm going to do on my phone ready to go. And then after that, I plan to eat lunch. I will probably eat a snack between now and the gym though, because otherwise I will get hungry at the gym, even though I ate breakfast not that long ago. I'm a snacker. So I'll eat lunch. And then this afternoon after lunch, which I'm guessing would be like around noon, I'm going to plan to do more design work. Depending on how, it's hard to say how far I'll be along on this logo design. Like I said, for my clients, I present them with two different logo concepts that are just two completely different directions. I usually only present them with one color palette, like once we've nailed that down, then we'll make some revisions to it. But I've already shown her one color palette that was just not the right fit for her, and we talked it through. And I have a new one that I haven't shown her yet that I think is the one we'll probably go with. But I will present her with two different brand concepts, and I just don't know how long that's going to take. I do try to limit my time and not just like, sit around and take forever to do something like that, because the truth is, with time management, if you give yourself all day to do something, it will likely take you all day to do it. But if you give yourself, 2 hours to work on something, 1 hour, whatever, you can make a lot of progress or even finish it in that amount of time. So for that particular working this afternoon, I will have until about 1:30. So not that much time, like an hour and a half. And I'm hoping to make some big progress on it in that 1 hour and a half. And the reason that's the only amount of time I have is because I have a call with a new branding client, and our project starts today. They actually had booked with me last year, but booked with me for February. So today is our project start date. So we'll talk through their questionnaire, and I'll get some feedback from them of their vision for the brand and just any things, you want to talk through a client with that kind of stuff beforehand. So this client, though, it's an interesting situation, different than most for me. They were one of my first clients ever for social media management back when I first, actually before I started my business. They were like one of the clients that I had before I had a business in place, and I still work with them for their social media. All these, I guess it's been only like 3 years, something like that. I don't even know how long I've been in business right now, but so I've worked with them for a while, and this whole time, I've been focusing on their social media, but their logo is just extremely outdated, and they've known that for a while and have now decided they want me to redo it. But I'm not doing their website, which that's pretty rare for me to do someone's branding and not their website. But they have their website through one of those companies that works with like medical people and kind of runs it for you. So they're going to stick to that, which is fine. So I'll just be doing their branding. So I'm already like really familiar with them as a company because I'm literally the one that posts all their social media content still. But I still want to like have a call with her just specifically to talk about this versus all the other stuff we typically talk about. So that call will probably be from 2 to 2:30 or 2:45. And afterwards, I'll spend some time like taking better notes than what I take during the call to make sure that whenever I am ready to start on the branding, because I probably won't start on it today, it'll probably be tomorrow, I want to have all the like thoughts there that I gathered from her during the call. So I'm going to play it by ear what I do after that. I might work on a template design. I started on one last week, a new template for the template shop, and it has been so fun. Like this happens to me. I love the templates so much that I sometimes want to neglect other work to work on them because I have so much fun doing it, and it doesn't feel like work to me. So I sometimes have to like restrain myself from doing that because I have other things I have to do. And that's not to say I don't love working on my client stuff. I just really get in the zone with the templates. And it's just me working on stuff for an imaginary client. Because the templates are built for anyone to use. So it's not built for someone specifically. So I'm not waiting on people's copy or their images or anything like that. So I can work a lot quicker on them, but I can get in the zone with those. So I might work on that this afternoon if I'm feeling like I want to be in that creative design space still. Because like you've noticed through me outlining this day, I'm going to be doing a lot of design work, but also being interrupted by 2 like business meetings. And interrupted's not the right word, but it's a mixed day of what I'm working on. So I could, after all of that, be like, ooh, I want to go back into design mode. Or I could be like, I'm sick of designing today. Who knows? So I'm leaving this afternoon open-ended. I'm either going to work on that template design, or if I need to do more work on the branding still for that client I'm doing branding on, and there's too many clients, I'm probably confusing you guys, but I might work on that branding client stuff, or I might outline a podcast, because you guys remember I said I was going to possibly do that yesterday afternoon. I actually felt in the design mode, and at that coffee shop, it just felt like it made more sense to me to work on design stuff there versus like trying to outline a podcast, because I actually need like more silence for that than what that coffee shop was giving me. That's probably what the afternoon will look like. And then some point today, probably right after work maybe, or later into the evening, I want to read. I haven't gotten to read the book I'm reading right now at all this week yet, and I really want to dive back into that novel because I'm enjoying it. And I don't like to take too long to read books because I forget what's happening, so I really want to make sure I keep reading it. So I might do some reading after work, or do my devotional time after work, or just read the novel. I'm not sure yet. And then tonight at 7:15, I have the first night of a Bible study that I'm going to be going to with some other women, and I'm really excited about it. So that's at 7:15. It's our first one, and we'll be doing it every other Wednesday. I think just continuously is the idea, but I don't really know what exactly we'll do tonight. I imagine since none of us are like prepped for whatever the topic is, I think it'll probably be more of a hangout and like introducing what we'll be doing. So I will be doing that tonight. Adam will be working tonight. Like I said, he works, most nights. It's pretty common for him to work during the week. Monday he had Young Life Club because he works for Young Life where we live. And then last night was his night off. And tonight he'll lead a Bible study for Young Life as well. So that's what he'll be doing while I'm at this Bible study, and we'll probably actually get home around the same time and we'll hang out together again. So there you have it. That's an outline of what I think my Wednesday will look like, and I will check back in with you guys tonight to let you know what it actually looked like. Hello, you guys. So it's actually Thursday morning. I'm recording this the next day to do the Wednesday recap. I got tired last night and I went to bed kind of late, so it didn't make sense for me to stay up and record. But here's what happened on Wednesday. So I did work on brand design stuff for my branding client, like really most of the day, and I made a lot of progress on it, particularly in the morning. And then I had that 1 hour call with Amber. It was supposed to be 30 minutes. We ended up talking more like an hour for coaching. And it was really helpful. We talked about the next template shop launch and ideas for that and ideas for promotion. So I ended up deciding to get advice from her on the template shop. And we even talked about a little bit of client stuff because she's actually one of my new website design clients starting somewhat soon. So we talked about that a little bit too. And then I did go to the gym almost right after that. I kind of got stuck in the inbox a little, but then I did go to the gym and I just did a short weightlifting workout, just 30 minutes. And I actually didn't get too sweaty, so I didn't shower after. I just went straight back into work. That's kind of what I have to do most of the time when I'm going to take a work break interruption with a workout. I need it to not cause me to have to like get ready all over again. So I didn't get ready again. I came home and I ate lunch and then I got right back into work. So after that, I focused again, went right back into designs for that branding client, and I made more progress. Remember, I'm trying to get her to 2 completely different brand concepts to present to her. So I worked on that more. And then I had that call at 2 with the new client for that I'm just doing branding with, who's already one of my current clients for social media. So I'm already really familiar with them. So that was only like a 30-minute call. Typically those calls are much longer, but since they were kind of rushed and I'm already familiar with them, so it took less time. So I'm going to be starting on that branding project pretty soon. So that means I have, just to keep the record straight, because there's so many clients I keep talking about without mentioning their names, but I have 3 open projects now, with this one having opened today. And then I have lots of others booked up until mid-May. After that call that was pretty brief, I took the notes on it and I got right back into designing for the client whose branding I'm working on. And I guess like another hour of work, I was able to send her the full 2 brand concepts for review, and I've asked her to have her feedback to me by Monday to keep our project on track. And it was good. It felt so good to get those 2 concepts completed, and I'm really excited to hear what she thinks. At this point, I'm always so eager, wondering, like, does the client love both of them? Do they dislike anything? I really want the feedback. So even though I give clients till Monday, most of the time I'm pretty much like, please hurry and tell me what you think, because I really just like to know even just an initial feeling. But she hasn't written me back yet, so I think she's really fast, so she probably will give me some kind of feedback today, now on Thursday. So after I finished those brand concepts, I took a walk break and just around our little neighborhood. And it was really nice weather yesterday. So I took a walk break, and during that break, I brainstormed podcast stuff. So I told you guys that I was thinking about working on a podcast outline this afternoon, and I did decide that was a good use of time. So I get so much better ideas when I'm walking. So I was just walking. I had my headphones on. For some reason, that helps me feel more in the zone, even though I had nothing playing. So if you see me walking ever, I might not have music playing in those headphones I'm listening to. But I got out my little notes app on my iPhone, and I took some notes for ideas for an episode. And then when I got back from walking, I only walked for like 20 minutes, and that's literally what I worked on the whole time, was just thinking through what kind of things I'd want to hit in that episode. And then I took what was in the notes app, and I just literally copied and pasted it into a Google Doc and built out an episode from there. So I literally typed out like, I think 6 or 7 pages of an outline for an episode that's all about working from home. It'll actually probably air before this one. So doing that, I worked till about 6 p.m., which is later than usual. I felt really in the zone on writing that episode. And Adam, like I told you guys, he was working last night. So he came home briefly because he actually went to the gym and then came, showered and all that and got ready to leave. So he was there doing like working out and then getting ready while I was doing this. So he wasn't there to hang out anyway. And then he left. And the Bible study I was supposed to go to last night got canceled because the host the stomach bug has just hit all of her kiddos and her family. So I ended up not going to that, and I stayed in instead. I didn't make other plans. I love usually to have one night per week where I'm just alone at home. I'm pretty introverted, even though I'm outgoing. I'm an outgoing introvert. That's the best way I can put it. So I like being around people, but I really need my alone time as well. And this week has had a lot of stuff going on at night so far, even going before what you guys have heard, but of the week before and last weekend. So I was kind of, I was excited about the Bible study, but I'm also okay that its postponement has gotten moved back a little. So I got to just stay in at home. So when 6 o'clock hit, I got out my book. I read a couple chapters of it. I'm reading the book Where the Crawdads Sing. Hopefully I'm saying that word right. I meant to look it up before I recorded this. I think that's how you say it. So it's like a Southern mystery novel is the best way I can describe it so far. It's really popular right now. I've seen so many people talk about it. It's actually a lot different than books I typically read, even though I'm always all in the mystery thriller genre. That's my favorite genre to read, but this book feels a lot different than those. It's more of like a coming of age novel than a murder mystery, even though it has that element as well. So I'm really enjoying it so far. It's very strange, but it really draws me in. So I read that for a while, and then I cooked dinner. I'd already had meal prepped everything I was going to cook because I like to meal prep in advance. So I had all the supplies, and I just had to put it together. And then I watched an episode of TV while I did a facial mask. Again, love to have those nights in where it's just me and I can just chill and do stuff like that. So I literally watched TV and left my mask on for like 30 minutes. And then after I finished that episode, I went back into reading my book until I basically got too tired and was falling asleep. And Adam got home from leading the Bible study he led last night with his Young Life guys I think he got home at like 9 something. And then I stayed up a little later and went to bed at about 10:30 when he went to bed as well. So that was a recap of what Wednesday looked like. And in a moment, I will tell you guys about what's on the agenda for Thursday. Hello. Now let me tell you guys what is on the agenda for today, which is Thursday. So, and I'm also going to recap my morning briefly. So this morning was more normal than yesterday, where I was just completely unproductive and did not get started well. So I woke up, had my coffee fixed. I read my Bible, which like I said earlier, I'm reading the Bible through, and I did 2 days worth today to kind of start the catching up process because I am a bit behind, about like 10 days behind, I think. And then I went to the gym. I did a short workout, which was just 25 minutes of high intensity interval training, but with weight. So it's a workout I'd done forever ago that I found on Instagram actually. And then I just did it again. And I didn't have that much energy in the gym. Like I said the other day this week, I I tend to not have as much energy as I would like in the morning if I haven't eaten breakfast yet. So I need to remember that better because, I need that fuel. So it wasn't a great workout, but I'm glad I woke up and I moved and got some activity in because that's always a great way to start the day. So I came home. I got ready. I washed my hair last night. It's so much detail, but I washed my hair last night after having not washed it since, I guess, Sunday night. And so I styled it again this morning to last a couple of days, probably through the weekend. So like I said, I don't style my hair every day. I just let it do it every couple of days. And that way I'm not having to deal with that all the time. So I got ready for the day, and then I fixed a smoothie for breakfast, which I'm actually sipping on right now, so that I could get back to work quickly. So I started this morning at 8:45, and I'd woken up about 6:30. So that's a little overview of the morning. So today is the most atypical day in the week for me. Of all the days, I know some of these I've told you guys have been abnormal in terms of just what's going on a little bit, but today's particularly abnormal because today is Valentine's Day. So I'll be celebrating that this evening with my husband, which, that's not, it's not every day of the week where you do Valentine's Day stuff. And then the really most not normal thing is that this afternoon I will be touring houses with our realtor, which is not normal. It's actually the first time we'll be doing that. So at noon today is when we're meeting our realtor, and we're looking at like 5 or 6 houses, I believe. And this is our first time looking at houses with a realtor. Right now, we rent an apartment that we've lived in since we've been married, and we've saved up the money now and we're ready to start the home buying process. So it's all very new to us. It's first time home buyers, but we're pre-approved for a loan, and we have a lot of houses that we've been eyeing on all those real estate websites. So our realtor is going to show some of those to us that are all in the same general area this afternoon. So that starts at noon. And like I said, like some of you listening are probably like, I know exactly how long that will probably take, but I have no idea how long it'll take. I did not ask him to tell us, how long do you think this will all be? I guess some of it depends on how much we like the houses and want to look at them longer. We're also doing the intro meeting with our realtor, since we know him already because my sister works for his company, but we haven't met with him to talk about us buying a house. So I basically am anticipating that it could be until the end of the workday, but I'm hoping it's not, because I do have a lot of work to get done today. Tonight I'll be hanging out with Adam. So to back up a little bit though, this morning I have a meeting at 10 a.m. with my website design client who I finished the branding for, and now we're on her website. And right now she's in the copywriting phase, writing the words for her website. And she just got photos done last weekend that we're waiting on to get back from the photographer. So we're kind of just at a touching base call. We're doing a Zoom video call, even though she's local, just to make this call easier than meeting in person, because I think it'll be pretty brief. But we're just going to look over the vision for the website in particular, hopefully look over her website copy. I don't know if how much of that she has done yet, but we will probably do those things. I anticipate it being anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. And then we're going to need to leave about 20 to 30 minutes before the realtor meeting to drive there. So we'll go tour the houses, maybe work after, maybe not. I'm open to working past 5 again today, like I did yesterday, because our Valentine's reservation is not until 7:30. And tonight we're going to Stony River Steakhouse, which I think it's a chain. There's a couple of them around the Nashville area. And normally Adam and I spend Valentine's Day, we've had literally a gazillion Valentine's Days together since we've been dating since high school. But normally we stay in on Valentine's Day. When we were younger, we would stay in and order takeout and just have a date night in. And since we've been married, every Valentine's Day so far, we've stayed in and cooked our homemade from scratch pizza that we're both just obsessed with. And we have some wine and some dessert and just stay in. But this year we decided to do a reservation. I made it literally early in January, and go to Stony River because some people we know very generously gave us a really awesome gift card there. And so when we think about that restaurant, it's pretty fancy, and we never go there. So we're we want to use it well. And so we're doing it as a holiday, and going there tonight. So our reservation's not till later. So tonight will probably be another late night for me, but I don't have any meetings on Friday. So that's helpful. And Fridays are normally more of my whatever I want to do kind of day when it comes to my work. I never take meetings on Fridays. I normally don't take meetings on Mondays, but I did this week. That didn't happen though because of the podcast. So yeah, that is what I expect today to be like. I'm really excited. I'm excited for all the things. I'm excited for the meeting with the client, to make some movement on her website. And I'm probably going to work on stuff for her right now once I finish recording all this until the meeting with her. And then I'll also probably do some emailing stuff. And then I'll have that meeting with her. In between that meeting and the meeting with the realtor, I will need to eat lunch to be fed before Adam and I go meet with him. And then also we'll hopefully just get some other random stuff done. Like when I have such short amount of times, can't really dive deep into something. I don't try to do stuff that you need to dive deep into. Like I'm not going to start a new design project. I'm not going to outline a podcast episode. Like I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm going to do more of the stuff that you can easily switch between. So, cause I really do. I'm someone who likes to get in the zone and then just like work at the thing. And it messes me up if I have to like stop doing it in like 30 minutes or only have a small amount of time. So yeah, that is today. And I will check in this evening or after the workday to let you guys know how it went. Bye. All right, you guys, it is Thursday early evening. It's only 5:05 right now, but I'm going to go ahead and record a recap for the day since my evening's pretty well established, so nothing really probably to recap there. So, like I said, today was a different day because we were spending a lot of the afternoon looking at houses, but that actually took up less time than I had been anticipating. So, this morning, I started after recording the podcast and I worked on stuff for the client whose website we're in the progress on doing. And I had a phone call with her at 10, and that lasted right up until I had to leave for the house meeting. So we talked for about an hour and a half. It was so good, such a good meeting. We walked through her website copy. That's what I did before the call. I walked through what she had added, and I gave her tons of pointers and made a to-do list for things for her to add. And we talked through some bigger visions for the website and her business in general to make sure we really hit those on the site. So this weekend, she's going to work on finishing up her website copy, and her photos are also going to be edited by her photographer this weekend. So come Monday, we should be ready to really hit the ground running on her website fully. So I'm very excited about that. Afterwards, me and Adam went straight in the car and drove to go look at houses. We toured, I think, probably 6 houses this afternoon. I can't even remember how many. And it was really fun. That was our first time doing it. Our realtor's awesome. And we just had a great experience. I don't think we'll put offers in on any of those houses necessarily yet. I think we'll want to see some houses in different areas first and that kind of thing. We were touring houses all in the same general vicinity. So we're excited for our realtor to find some houses for us because those are all houses that I personally had found myself. So we got done with that about 2:00. So way earlier than I thought it was possible for us to be back. So I got back, I ate a snack, and then I jumped right back into work. And the first thing I did was actually some Pinterest stuff. It felt like a good transitional thing. So I worked on Pinterest stuff. And then after that, I actually transitioned into editing a podcast episode myself, which that took about an hour. I'm in the process at this point of hiring someone to do my editing, but I do want to do some of it myself so I can know like how much time it takes me, what all goes into it, how many things I'm actually editing in and out, and that kind of stuff. So I was excited to edit that one myself to be a learning experience and also to have one completely done and edited. So I did that, feel good about it. It's completely done. And then after that, I dove into some social media stuff. I did some Instagram posting, both on stories and as a post. So that just took me a very small amount of time, but I wanted to touch base on there today. And then after that, I dove into my inbox, and I have been doing that for about an hour, responding to emails, some from my actual clients, but I tend to get back to them much faster. So more of the emails I was replying to were things from potential leads. And right now I'm actually on a wait list for custom design work. So you'll notice if you think about all the things I've said this week, all the various meetings, None of them have been with potential clients. They've all been with current clients. And that's because right now I'm not taking potential client calls until my next booking period starts, which I'll probably do a whole podcast episode about it. It's a new thing I'm trying, so I want to test it out fully first. So I was responding to some stuff of people inquiring about the template shop and then some potential leads. And that was mostly the emails, a little bit of template support as well. And I was able to tackle all that. And now I'm probably going to work like 20 to 30 more minutes. Like I said, I thought I might work past 5 today, and I think I'm going to, because me and Adam have later Valentine's Day reservations. So we'll probably start hanging out about 5:45 or 6, and then we're going to go to our restaurant at 7:30, which I'm just so excited about this meal. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I will check back in with you guys tomorrow on Friday morning. Bye for now. Good morning, you guys. It is Friday, which is one of my favorite work days of the week because it's very much just kind of whatever I feel like doing that day. I keep Fridays meeting free about 95% of the time, and I use it to either dive really deep into a client project or to work on something I'm excited about in my business, or even sometimes to quit the day early and make it a half day. So to recap my morning, I woke up at like 6:30ish, and today I spent the morning reading that book, the Where the Crawdads Sing book. I made a lot of progress on it this week. I think I'm about 30% of the way through, and I'm really enjoying that. So I actually read that this morning and then did some journaling, and that was it. And I had breakfast with Adam. I got slightly ready this morning. Most days have been getting dressed and putting on makeup kind of mornings, but today I'm working from yoga pants and a t-shirt, and I haven't done my makeup yet, and I probably won't until the afternoon, if at all today. Some days I just go makeup free all day, which always feels nice. So I'm still dressed. I always don't work in pajamas, but I love just working from t-shirts and leggings. I feel so much more comfortable and helps me get into the design mode more. So like I said, Fridays are a no meeting day for me. So every other day this week I've had meetings, which usually I also try to prevent and kind of batch those more. But when they're meetings with my one-to-one clients, I do take them on more. So right now it's actually 9:45, which I have been working today since 8 a.m., but I did not record this first thing because I kind of just dove straight into work. I was feeling some energy on stuff. So starting at 8, I actually worked on some hiring stuff for within my business, checking out potential hires, doing some job postings, and emailing with some people who I might hire for some various kinds of help in my business. So that's fun. And then I also did some social media work for a client who needs to be nominated for an award within their city. So I did some posting about that. And somewhat soon, I'm probably going to go grab some Starbucks. We literally are lucky to live less than a mile from a Starbucks. And my coffee this morning was not very good because I'm out of almond milk and I'm out of my Nut Pods creamer. I had just a little bit of each left, and I like a certain amount of creamer, so my coffee felt like just too black, and I barely drank any of it. Wasted the coffee and the creamer that I did have left. So I'm going to go get myself a special drink at Starbucks. I'm going to order it on the app and then just go pick it up and then run back here. And I think this morning I'm going to get started on a first branding concept for my new one-to-one branding client who I had the call with on Wednesday. And I would love it if I could come up with 2 concepts today, because, I like to present my clients with 2 concepts and then they choose one and then we refine it more. But I think it's going to be hard to come up with 2. We'll see creatively how that works. I would love to come up with at least 1 concept to show them. And then I would wait until Monday to come up with the other one and then show them at the same time. So that's going to be a big focus of the day. I actually haven't really planned out what I'm going to do today as much. Like I said, I like for Fridays to be a little bit more of going with my mood on what I work with. So in addition to that client stuff, I might do some podcast editing or writing outlines or even recording. I'm going to see how I feel. With all the recording I've done every day this week for this, it's kind of gotten me in the mood for recording more episodes. So I might work on that or work on an outline for an episode, something like that. I also have a template I'm designing that's in the early works. I've done about 2 pages of the template of like the 12 or so I'll design. So I could work on that. That's a really, really fun project. So I might do that as well. I haven't really decided. And then today I'll end my day with what is called a CEO report, where I use a Google form and I answer questions just based on what this week was like for me. Like I rank how I felt, I write in how many hours I worked, how productive I feel like I was, any big projects that moved forward, any launches that happened within my business or that I'm observing from other businesses, just kind of like a scope of what's happening in the world right now, in the world of my business and life, and any notes I might want to remember for this time next year. It's really fun to look back at these because I can observe things like that at certain times of year. Certain things are just a different way than other times. And so I like to be able to observe these through this report. So it's just an internal Google form that I get an email about from myself. I have an automated email that sends to myself to remind me to fill out my report. And then I fill it out. And it's a Google form like the kind you would send to get feedback from other people, but it's an internal form. I'm the only one that sees the results and I'm the only one submitting to it. So I love doing that to close out my Fridays. And tonight, Adam and I will actually just plan to stay in and cook at home, probably watch some TV or a movie. We went big last night for Valentine's Day, so I don't really think we're in the mood to go out to dinner again and do a whole big thing. So I'm thinking we'll probably cook at home and might go out for dessert or something and just kind of have like a movie night in, which sounds really good to me for this Friday night. And then on Saturday, we'll probably go out with friends or something, but then let tonight just be a night in. So that is what I'm expecting today to be like. And for the last time after work today, I will check in with you guys and let you know how the day went. Hey, you guys, we made it through the week. So today has been a busy but productive day. I really got in this zone of my work, and right now I'm actually feeling quite tired and my eyes are very tired from staring at the computer all day. I need to get those special glasses so they don't hurt, because today I've looked at the computer too long. I haven't really taken many breaks and I have gotten in the zone, which I do like to do sometimes. So my main focuses today were hiring progress for within my business, specifically for help with this podcast. And then podcasting, I focused on the podcast a lot today, and then also home buying stuff. So I spent most of the workday working on stuff for this show. That's what I felt in the mood for, and it felt good. I got a lot done. I did some outlines. I recorded some episodes. I also edited some. Like I said, I'm working on hiring someone for editing, but I do like to edit some myself as well. So I also touched base with some potential hires to work on the show. I did some job listings, like I said, and then was able to get in touch with them and actually schedule stuff for next week to chat. And just now I ended my day with a CEO report where I answered all those questions I told you guys about that I do once a week. And it's so good to just reflect back on your week and celebrate your wins. So whether or not you do a quote unquote CEO report or not, I would encourage you to end your week answering this question, like write it in a journal, type it into a document, whatever. The question is, what are you celebrating this week? And sometimes the reason I say you should end your week answering that is because it's so easy to end the hustle of everyday life to forget all the big wins from the week. So I literally have to look through my calendar to remember some things, but some of the wins I wrote down were that I got to look at houses for the first time, which was a huge progress step on us buying our first home. I sent one of my clients 2 full brand concepts in a mood board. I started on the website for the other client. I got to be interviewed on a podcast. I gave a Young Life talk, sold some templates, recorded multiple episodes of this podcast and outlined some episodes, all that kind of stuff. And I started a hiring process for help on this as well. So it's good for me to sit there and type those out and remember them and celebrate them as I'm typing them. So just now, I sent houses to our realtor to look at next week. So he asked us to send some other ones that we want to see. So I have been typing those up, doing some research and sending those to him. And now it's already past 5, but to finish out the workday, I'm going to update both my personal finance budget from just what we spent this week, and then also my business profit loss, kind of like tracking money in, money out for the week. And then I'm going to relax. I'm so excited to just chill out tonight. And my next step is probably going to be to fix some tea and start reading my book again. And then Adam and I are also going to hang out later. I will also probably watch an episode of Law & Order SVU, which is one of my favorite shows. And a new episode came out on Thursday night, and I didn't watch it live, or maybe it came out Wednesday, whatever. It comes out, I think it comes out Wednesday nights, but I typically don't watch it live, and I wait until later to catch it. So I'm excited to watch that as a side note, but that was my Friday. You guys, we did it. There you have it. That was a week behind the scenes of my life and business. I hope this was fun for you. It certainly was fun for me recording all this. And I also hope that you learned a thing or two. If you liked this episode, would you do me a favor and share it? Tell your friends about it and send me an email or message on Instagram or Facebook to let me know you enjoyed it. If you guys are into this style of podcasting, I'll be sure to add more of these in because I certainly enjoyed it. And if you guys like it too, I want to create more of them. So thank you so much for listening. Talk soon. Bye.